There was something else I noticed in Carson City that really struck me. Everybody rode horseback in that town. I never saw such magnificent horsemanship as that displayed in Carson streets every day, and I did envy them, not being much of a horseman myself. But I did learn to tell a horse from a cow and was burning with impatience to learn more. I was determined to have a horse and ride myself. Whilst this thought was in my mind, the auctioneer came through the plaza on a black beast that was humped like a dromedary and fearfully homely. He was going at $22 for horse, saddle, and bridle. A man standing near me, whom I didn't know, but who turned out to be the auctioneer's brother, noticed the wistful look in my eye and observed that was a remarkable horse to be going at such a price, let alone the saddle and bridle. I said I had half a notion to bid. Now he says, I know that horse, I know him well. You are a stranger, I take it? You might think he is an American horse, but he is nothing of the kind. He is a Mexican plug. That's what he is, a genuine Mexican plug. There was something about that man's way of saying it that made me just determine that I would own a genuine Mexican plug, if it took every cent I had. And I said, has he any other advantages? He hooked his forefinger in the pocket of my shirt and led me to one side, and in a low tone so that no one else could hear, said, Shh, don't say a word. He can outbuck any horse in America. He can outbuck any horse in the world. Just then the auctioneer came back around. $24 for the horse, saddle, and bridle. I said, 27, and sold. I took the genuine Mexican plug, paid for him, put him in a livery stable, let him get something to eat and get rested, and then in the afternoon I brought him out to the plaza, and some of the citizens held him by the head, and others held him down to the earth by the tail, and together let his back sag down. I got on, and then the plug put all his feet together in a bunch, arched his back up suddenly, and shot me 180 yards. And I came down again, straight down, and lighted in the saddle, and went up again. And when I came down the next time, I lit on his neck, seized him, and slid back into the saddle and held on. Then he raised himself straight up in the air on his hind feet and just walked around a while like a member of Congress. And then he came down and went up the other way and just walked around on his hands just as a schoolboy would, and all the time kicking at the sky. Then he came down on all fours again with the same old process of shooting me up in the air. And the third time I went up, I heard a man say, "Oh, don't he buck?" So that's what bucking was. I was very glad to know it. Not that I was enjoying it, but then I had been taking a general sort of interest in it and had naturally desired to know what the name of it was. And whilst I was up that time, somebody hit the horse a whack with a strap, and when I came down again, the genuine bucker was gone. While this performance was going on, a sympathizing crowd had gathered around, and one of them remarked to me, "Stranger, you have been taken in. That's a genuine Mexican plug." And another one says, "Think of it. You might have bought an American horse used to all kinds of work for just a few more dollars." Well, I didn't want to talk. I didn't have anything to say. I was so jolted up, so internally, externally, and eternally mixed up, gone all to pieces. I put one hand on my forehead and the other on my stomach. And if I had been the owner of 16 hands, I could have found a place for every one of them. Being in Nevada, where the great silver deposits, such as the Comstock Lode, were located, it was only natural that I catch the fever to strike it rich. I had expected to just be able to go out into the hills outside of Carson City and find silver lying on the ground, where I would gather it up, get rich, and go home in style. But it was not that way. I eventually got to know substantially everything there was to know about mining, except how to make money at it. In time, I abandoned mining and went to milling. That is to say, I went to work as a common laborer in a quartz mill at $10 a week and board. I only lasted a week there because when I asked for an increase in wages to $400,000 a month, I was invited to leave the premises. Then, something else turned up.